Good evening, good evening. Just waiting for I know some people can see me and hear me. How do I put the chart? It's a bit of a late one, I know. It's a bit late for this one. I only just arrived. Yes, hope everyone's good. Formalities before I start the waffle. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? All that sort of stuff. Let's have it. Love that. Yeah. Okay, good evening. Good evening, good evening. Yeah, what a couple of days. Digesting it. Mad. So I just wanted to come on and give a bit of an update. Obviously, we're trying to keep things as quiet as we can, and I'm trying to publish as much as I can. I know for a lot of people, they're probably wondering where the more information is coming, but I've got to be careful with this because I want to make sure this is done correctly. And I want to make sure there's no opportunity for anyone to hinder this because a lot of work's gone into it. So I didn't find Sherry. I didn't find Sherry. But no, seriously, I mean, just going up, just talking about the my trip to Dover. You know, crazy, nuts, and but I think I needed that. Something was telling me to go to Dover. Something was telling me to go and feel it, go and see it. You know, how could I expect to call upon people to support the men of England and the men of Britain in France, in Dover, and not be there and feel it? So for me, it was about going there, doing a recon, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that the gentleman that I sat with gave me the information, and it, you know, I came away from that interview feeling quite sad that this has been going on for so long, and we just had no idea. We didn't know the extent of it. We had no idea that we were being absolutely bamboozled and lied to on every single level, and everything's so backwards. And it made me more determined than ever to make this work, because this is the right thing to do. You know, what is the response to realizing that, you know, one of the biggest scandals, one of the biggest cons, you know, in regards to people making money off of all of us. They're making money off all of us, and it goes right from the top right down to the bottom. So just an update about Dover. This is how it's going to go. This is how Dover's going to go. I sat with a few lads from Dover. I'd like to give Andy Hood a shout. Anyone that knows Andy Hood, he's a Dover lad through and through, a real good lad, a proud patriot. If you don't know him, he's on Instagram. I'm not sure what his handle is, but it's Andy Hood, his name is. And we sat and we talked, and I talked him through it, and then, you know, then I met the guy for the interview after being at the migrant facility. So we're not going to do what we originally thought. I think this is my mind has been changed because of my trip to Dover. Why should I or anyone else treat the public that are driving in Dover on Saturday the way that we originally thought, when in reality our anger, our frustration, and the safety of our nation relies on putting pressure on the very people, the points and the locations of where this invasion is happening. And let's not be on any doubt, that's exactly what this is. this is not refugees. These are not refugees. We know this. And anyone that's sitting on the fence for that, I mean, you are literally blinded by your left madness of a brain, because this is a clear-cut national security risk to our country, to our people, more importantly to our children, to our women. The fact that these migrants are being processed, and the ones that have, you know, diseases that are really, really naughty diseases, are being then instantly put in communities rather than quarantined in facilities. But because there's such a volume of people, they can't quarantine them in the facilities that they have. So they put them in our communities, in our hotels. It's insanity, and it needs to be treated that way. And the fact that we have so the diseases that they're seeing is TB. We're seeing scabies. You know, these are really dirty diseases, yeah? And they are, because they can't put these people with the numbers that are coming over, they can't put them in the facilities or in that they're putting the other ones in. They have to send these straight to the hotels. It makes no sense. You know, they're putting us all at risk on every level. But my main point as well that I took away from the last 2 days in Dover, that counter-terrorism police know that members of militias from all across Africa, militias all across the Middle East, terrorist organizations all across Africa, be it Boko Haram, be it the Taliban, be it Al-Qaeda, members of those organizations are sat. It is not hearsay. It is not maybe. Counter-terrorism police know. Because 2 police officers who pulled me over yesterday agreed that they know that's true. But it's above their pay grade. It's above your pay grade. To me, that's the same as the Nazis telling me we're just following orders. When you know something's wrong and you know it's having a detrimental effect on your community, you have to stand up and say something. And then the coppers start talking about it being Parliament level, above his pay grade. What more do you need? And I'm talking to the lads, what more do you need? On what level, more confirmation that this is what we think it is? What else do you need? I'm being quite vague with what's happening in France because I have to be. I've put it out there and I've said it multiple times. You just need to pre-book and make sure you can get to France by early afternoon between 11:30 and 1 o'clock. Calais is a very small place. It's not Paris, it's not London, it's not Birmingham. It's a very, very small place. And the places that we will be going will be in short distance from Calais. So just get to Calais. Book however you want to get there, you book it. And you go to Calais. You pull over in a supermarket car park, you go and get yourself a baguette or a croissant, get yourself a coffee, and you wait. You wait for the call. You wait for the information. That's how this is done. If I release too much, this doesn't work. So if you're on the fence about coming or not coming because, I don't really know what's going on, you'll know. Trust me, you will know. The information you need to know right now is that you need to be in Calais between 11:30 and 1 o'clock. Park up somewhere, make yourself comfortable and wait. And make sure you have access to my YouTube, make sure you have access to my Instagram and my Facebook. That's it. That's how this is done properly. And those that are going to be in Dover, the same thing. Dover is a very small place. I feel like I know Dover quite well because of the last 2 days. Dover's small. You don't need to panic. Well, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what's going on. No, that's, again, the element of surprise with this is key. I know what I'm doing. So again, I would say to anyone that's sat on the fence about coming to Dover or not coming to Dover, well, I don't know what's going on. Go to Dover and get there and be ready to go and be told where to go by about 1 o'clock. Ready for 2 o'clock. That's it. No one needs to make a big fuss about what's happening, where it is, what's going on. You need to know two things. If you're going to Dover, get there around 11:30, 12, ready, 1, ready to move to be somewhere for 2. Even if you're right at the other end of Dover and you need to travel to the other end of Dover, it'll take you 10 minutes. Literally take you 10 minutes. And even if you're walking or getting it will take you it's no time at all. I have to be careful with this because I'm not allowing anyone to take away what this is. What this is about doing something different. For 9 years, I've organised protests and demonstrations throughout the United Kingdom. And they've been beautiful, beautiful events. But they've changed nothing. Well, that's not true. Some of the pressure that we put on 2018, 2019, 20, I think went on to help Tommy be released. So that's not true. But in the grand scheme of things, in the bigger picture, protests do nothing. What this does is a little bit different. It wakes the lion up. It makes us realise that something different has to be done. We cannot, with the information that we've been given, just talk about it. What I've given you, the public, on some level in the last 48 hours, is such vital information that shows you that this is being orchestrated from every level. Before, I mean, it all works in conjunction with each other. Went to the migrants facility, realised that it had been hidden away from the public eye, fortified in a way that was like some sort of fortified building that was in the middle of Afghanistan. Then we realised the money that was being used at this place. Then a guy contacts me and shows me pictures of inside of the facility, which shows that these men are receiving the best care, which no British or English man would receive if they were fall on hard times, which is unfair, which is corrupt, which is not how this is supposed to work. And then to have a guy that worked in the facility for 2.5 years and tell us the most disturbing information about what's actually happening. And you got to remember, everything he told us about the drones, the British government have been playing us for fools. And I am not talking about Keir Starmer. I'm talking about all of them. I'm talking about the Conservatives for the last however many years. Don't think this is a Labour problem, because it's not. There is a higher entity in this country which is controlling the governments and allowing this to happen. A Conservative government is not supposed to behave the way it behaved when they were in power, which would indicate, as it has done with some of the evidence that's come to light, there are higher entities within London, within government, that are actually controlling what's actually happening around the United Kingdom. And it doesn't matter who's the Prime Minister, it doesn't matter who's the Foreign Secretary, it doesn't matter who works at the Home Office. The plan is the plan. And no government and no politician will ever get in their way. And I believe that wholeheartedly now. And a lot of you I know will probably feel the same. And a lot of you probably already know that and probably have felt that for many, many years. But what's happened in the last few days has categorically made my mind up that that is the case. This is a conspiracy on so many levels, and it needs to be treated like this. The media know this. The media will not report this. The media will not tell you the truth. They will not investigate like it is in America, like with Nick Shirley, with all of these underground investigators that just expose these huge corrupt conspiracies. And I'm including GB News in this. They're not stupid. GB News have the ability to investigate all of this. I am no one special. And are people like Active Patriot, BB Media, AY, all these top lads, they're not on special. They worked it all out. The media know it. And don't be blindsided. They're all in the same club. And I'm including GB News in that as well. They're all part of the same clubs. They all look after each other. They all scratch each other's backs. And if you get too close to the media and you think they're on your side, they'll control what they put out and you lose the ability to tell the truth. So we don't need the media to be involved. We don't need to tell the media or the politicians. This isn't for them. They don't care about us. Do you think they care about us? They care about their wages. They care about being elected and being in positions of power. They do not care about the average person and their family. There may be some exceptions to that rule. Mr. Lowe, I believe, is an exception to that rule. Ben Habib, I believe on some level, is an exception to that rule. But anyone that believes that we have an ability to wait years down the line for a political solution to this is actually part of the problem. And if you believe that you can sit around waiting for a political solution to save our nation from this disaster that is unfolding before us, then I would advise you to rethink. Because what I have seen, what I've heard and what I've felt in the last 3 to 4 months has put me in a position where I am now, I have to take sleeping tablets to sleep because my brain does not switch off. My brain is going 100 miles an hour. And some people see that as me making decisions based on impulse. Sometimes you've got to go with your instinct. You've got to go with your gut. And everything that I've said and everything that I'm doing is what my gut is telling me to do. Because I believe that we are becoming a very weak, digitalized nation that sits in front of cameras and sits on the internet waffling and think everything's going to be okay when it's actually really, really not. And soon, when all of us, because we will very soon be too old to do anything, our beautiful children and their children will be stuck with a system and a world and a lifestyle that will be completely alien to any of us and any of our grandfathers or even our parents went through. And anyone that's willing to sit back and accept that is a weak person. So that's my waffle for that. I'm asking you, no, I'm not. I'm telling you something needs to happen. And on the 24th, it's not a one-day pony. If you think I'm doing this for the one-day trip, you're highly mistaken. I'm in this blood, sweat and tears. So if you do really care about your country and you care about the direction it's going in and you don't really fancy the France trip or you can't get there or don't have a passport, then just come to Dover and stand with those people. We have people in Dover, and when we get there, we're going to make sure that no one disrespects what it is we're doing. But we're going to do this in a way that puts the pressure and the message on exactly where it needs to be put. So that's Dover. And France will be different. The French need to understand what they're doing to us. The French need a wake-up call. And I had a few conversations with a few groups, and I'm so proud of the men that I'm talking to. I am truly proud of those men. Ex-soldiers, fathers, husbands, grandfathers, who say, Dan, enough. I'm not coming with you for violence, but I'm coming with you to stand shoulder to shoulder to send a clear message to the French that if they continue to allow our country to head in this direction, then we will carry on coming and coming and coming and coming. What happens on Saturday, the optics of that will kickstart, I believe, a lot of men in the UK to realise something needs to be done. And if it doesn't, then God help us all. God help us all. But I need to be able to look in my daughter's and my son's eyes when they're older and say, I tried. I was scrutinised, I was slandered. They tried to stop me, but I never gave up. No matter what came my way, I never gave up. And that's something I want you guys in here to think. Is he right? Is there enough evidence to say that he's right? Yes. Am I concerned about my daughter? Yes. Am I concerned about my wife? Yes. Am I concerned about my wider family? Yes. Then do not tell me you can't make it on Saturday. Be it in whatever capacity that may be. I fully appreciate not everyone can come to France. Get that. And we cannot take women to France. Cannot take women. And that's no disrespect to the women of England. But we cannot take women to France. It's too dangerous. So you have to ask yourself a question. I don't want to waffle too much. You've got to make a choice. Because if this doesn't work, and I know it will, but let's say it doesn't, then what? Then what? What we're going to do? What's the other option? Start kicking off. Start rioting. You'll just be in jail by the end of the week. You'll be in a BCAT prison by the end of the month, away from your family. Make absolutely no sense whatsoever. We need to anarchy. No, you don't. You need to stand up. Enough stand up. Have you seen the table of the powerful men around the table? And you have all the people underneath the table. You just got to stand up. And you've got to start somewhere. Is this the right idea? We've got to start somewhere. Is there a risk? Yeah. But we've got to start somewhere. Is there more time we can waste? We can sit around waiting? No. No. Can't wait. So that's it. If you're not in Dover on Saturday, go back to the pub and start moaning. Go back into your front room and tell your wife or tell your husband, can't believe the country's turning like this. Don't be scared to come on your own. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to turn up, there's going to be a bunch of loving people, British, English people holding flags, loving your country the same way you do. What are you worried about? It's about your kids, about your grandkids. This is about your country. Take that fear of whatever you're stopping you from wanting to come and put it to the back for the day. You have to realise how serious this is. I am not another person just waffling on the internet that's going to, the problem, I'm going to have to call this out because it's important that people understand. I don't sit on any fences. No one controls me. I say things how they are. People have tried to control me for the last 9 years in some capacity, and I do not let them do it because I am who I am and no one will change me. But there is too much ability to waffle on the internet to make money from that, and that will stop people actually taking actual action. We've become too digitalized, where people believe that people that talk on the internet, because they talk a good game, they're somehow the savior of the country. No, that's talk. Everyone can have an opinion. Everyone can talk. What matters is that something gets done. Too many people are following blindly people that have a good talk and show videos about what's happening. I mean, listen, information is key. citizen journal. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about, look at the guys, the auditors. Look at what they're doing. They're out there. They're out there. I'm having a conversation with AY yesterday, telling me him in the dead of night, AY is following buses all everywhere, following buses of migrants everywhere, dropping them off at the dead of night. AY's in the back of cars, like making sure we can see everything's going on, documenting. What a lad. BB Media going over to France. Active Patriot going to France. UKIP going to France. Raise the Colours going to France. These people are doing stuff. We have to change. And we have to stop, even if we don't like the people, they're still doing something. And the greater good of the cause is more important than arguments, bickering, worrying about who's taking the credit for what's what. That has to come to an end. So I'm the one taking the risk on the heightened level here. And I'm willing to take that risk because it's the right thing to do for the country, for the cause, and for my kids. That's the main important thing. So if you can, you should come to Dover. You're not going to be part of any violent thing because it's not going to turn that way, and I've made sure of it. There are people in Dover, including whatever. We're going to be there, and anyone tries to disrespect anything we do, you will be dealt with in a very English fashion. Let me put that very, very clear to you now. You come to Dover with looking to commit violence or riots, you will be dealt with in a very English way. Okay? And the same applies for France. You turn up in France and try and start disrespecting what we're doing, you will be dealt with in a very English fashion. And that's not a threat to anyone. That's an absolute promise from me and the lads. You will be dealt with. Don't turn up. We're looking for real patriots that know what needs to be done. Yeah? This is the beginning. This is not the end. The end is when the boats stop. The end is when our country becomes a little bit safer bit by bit. When the government realise, shit, we need to actually do something here because they're starting to stand up. You've got to look around the world. When people start standing up, the government shit themselves. And, the numbers that were in London in September, imagine if everyone stood up. So, that's my waffle for the night. You got the idea. You want to come to Dover, go for breakfast, have a coffee, wait for the call. You're going to France, make sure you book. You can go from Portsmouth, you can go from Plymouth, you can go from Dover, you can go from, you can hire cars, you can fly to Paris, you can hire a car. Do not tell me there are not ways. It's now Thursday, you have enough time. And wait for the call. Go to Calais, wait for the call. It's not a big place. Don't tell me that all of this is dysfunctional. If I come on and tell you all the plans, what do you think's going to be waiting? Don't be stupid. I'm doing this the right way. And I will see you in Dover, and I'll see you in France. And I would hope that our religion, that Christianity, pastors, will be praying for us. Because one of the things we need to remember is when people say, well, I'm not going to go to France, there's a chance, we might get, things might happen. Our granddads looked at the situation in Europe. Our granddad looked at the situation in Europe, and there was no one in our country. Our country hadn't been invaded. There was no one there. England was safe. England was not invaded. There was no invaders in England or the United Kingdom. And they still went to France and died to protect our homeland. And there was no one even in our homeland at that point. They still went and died for us. Yeah? So, they're here. They've invaded. They're all around us. And we're like, well, I don't really fancy France. You know, I'd rather go to the footy, go and sit in the football ground. I'd rather go down to Boozer on a Friday night, have a headache in the morning. Fucking grow up, grow some fucking balls, go and speak to your nan and ask her what your granddad went through when we hadn't even been invaded, when no one was in the country at that point, and the men of England and Britain had gone over the channel in their hundreds of thousands. The landing craft doors opened, most of them got shot instantly, and they did that with no people, with no invasion at all. And yet they're all invading our country, and I'm proving it that it's happening on that level. These are not refugees, and yet we're still on the fence, going, "Well, I don't know if I'm going to wait for the right moment to go to France and do." No, don't be weak, don't be spineless. Get your act together, get on the internet, get it booked, and I'll see you in France, and I'll see you in Dover. In Jesus' name, thank you for those that are coming. Thank Jesus Christ for keeping me safe throughout the 9 years, and I hope he continues to keep me safe in the next few days. Thank you, everyone. Good night.